Hello, and welcome to my video on my OB-SX programmer I've been working on over the quarantine period. So if you don't know, the OB-SX is from the same family as the OB-X, the OB-XA and the OB-8, with the main difference being that this is a preset synthesizer, so you have very limited access to the parameters, and also you can't save over the presets. So this is where this unit comes in here. It's comprised of two parts, and we have the programmer here, which has got potentiometers, it's got buttons, it's got the OLED screen, and it's got an SD card reader, and also the interface controller, which plugs into the programmer and also into the back of the synthesizer. At the moment I don't have the front panel on. I'll probably flash a picture on the screen because I'm currently designing it. But I've tried to keep the layout as similar to an OB-X, with the major difference being this shift button here. This allows you to enter a shift menu, which allows you to do stuff like save a preset, randomize parts of a preset, and also copy and paste a preset from a clipboard. And altogether, what this allows you to do is edit every single parameter of the synthesizer, as well as save and load presets. So next, I'm going to demonstrate how to load, edit, and save a patch on the programmer. So at the moment we're on preset C2. So let's go to the first preset. So to do that, I'm going to just leave bank C and then go to number 1. As you can see, the LEDs have changed brightness, and that's because stuff like LED brightness, the randomization mode, and also patching for the expression is all saved on a per patch basis. So now we're on preset 1. Quite a simple preset. So we're going to go ahead and add in some modulation to this. Let's do some pulse width modulation. So one difference between this and the panel of the OB-X is that one button is being used to represent the output wave of the oscillators. So usually you would have one button for sawtooth and one button for square, but we've got one for each oscillator here. So when the LED is off, you have sawtooth wave, and when it's on, you have square wave, and you can do that for both oscillators. Now, pulse width modulation will only work on the square waves, so I'm going to make sure both LEDs are lit here, and then I'm going to move on to the modulation section. So I can select the wave of the oscillator, so there's either triangle wave or square wave. You've got the frequency of the LFO here. I'm just going to put it quite fast. The middle column is for sending this modulation to the frequency of the oscillators and the cutoff of the filter, so we're not going to do that just yet. And then the last column is for sending this modulation to affect the pulse width of the oscillators. So let's do both oscillator 1 and oscillator 2, and then we can affect the depth of this modulation here. So let's have a listen to that. And as I mentioned before, we can also send this modulation to the cutoff of the filter. So let's do that. So we select the filter as a destination. Let's put the cutoff quite low so we can hear it. And there we go. And then we can change it to a square wave. Just like that. So let's say we're now happy with the sound, but we don't want to save over our original preset. We want to keep that as well. So what we can do is use the clipboard for this. So we go into our shift menu, we copy this to our clipboard, and then we go and select a new preset where we want to save it. So let's select ABC1. So now we're on preset ABC1, there we go. And then what we can do is we can paste it from the clipboard. So we should have still the same sound. And then finally, we can save it to the preset. And there we go. So now it's saved to the preset. But we still have our original preset on number 1. So there we go, that was the original. And then this should be our new one. Just like that. So next I'm going to talk about external modulation. At the moment I've got an expression pedal plugged in. In total there's 4 different types of input. One expression and 3 CV 0 to 5 volts inputs. So you've got your expression, you've got a stereo jack, so the tip and the ring are the CV inputs, and then you've got ground on the sleeve, and then finally a mono jack input, which is tip CV and sleeve grounded. So on the floor I've got a Moog expression pedal, and I've just got that set to standard wiring, and that's feeding in. I'm going to talk about how we can use this to affect and modulate certain parts of the panel. So let's go back to our original patch number 1. And to select the destination of where we want to send our modulation from our expression pedal, we go into the shift menu, and this column of knobs allows us to select 2 destinations, so we can actually control 2 parameters simultaneously. So let's start off controlling the cutoff of the filter. So at the moment we've got a number going from 0 to 19, so when it's on 0 it's not going anywhere, and then 1 to 19 are different destinations. I hope to change this with actually printing the name of the destination so it's more user friendly, but I've got it as a number at the moment. So if I set this to number 5, like that, I'm just going to set the other to 0. So I've got destination 5. This should be now affecting the cutoff of the filter. So if I put the cutoff flow to start with, and I'm raising the cutoff by just pressing down the pedal. Just like that. So as I said, you can control 2 things at the same time. So if we go back in, we can then select a new destination or a different destination. So let's try and modulate the frequency of one of the oscillators. We've got the frequency of something. Let's see which oscillator it is. So we've got we're now controlling or varying the frequency of oscillator 2. And as you can hear, it's going really high. So one thing I've added in is that you can actually affect the range of one of the destinations. So this is destination selection A, and we can vary the maximum value this changes a parameter to. So currently it's at 100%, so it's going right to the maximum value on the parameter. But using these 4 potentiometers here, so each one of these is linked to one of the 4 inputs or external modulation. For the first one, we can change the range. So now the maximum value the frequency goes to is kind of limited by this setting here. And there you go, that sounds a bit nicer. So we are controlling both the cutoff of the filter and also the frequency of oscillator 2 at the same time, and this can be saved into the preset and recalled at any time. So another thing the programmer can do is that it can create random patches. So to do this, we can go into our shift menu, and we've got a button right here to create a random patch. But alongside this, we also have a random mode. So the panel's been split into different sections. We've got control, modulation, oscillators, filter, and the envelope section. And depending on if the value is 1 or 0, will dictate if that section is randomized when clicking the button. So let's set it to 01001. So that means that only the modulation section and the envelope section will be randomized, and everything else will be kept the same. So this is useful if you've tuned the oscillators to a 5th and you want to keep it that way. So let's have a play around and see what kind of sounds we get. You can see the LEDs changing because they're getting randomized. Let's add in everything and see what other sounds we get with that. So now that's everything being randomized. And we can still edit our randomized patch. And when we're happy with that, we can just simply select a patch to save it into. So let's copy it to our clipboard. Let's save it in, let's do AC1, paste, and save. And there we go. We saved a randomized patch. So as the talking part of this video comes to an end, I'm just going to quickly mention the MIDI implementation. There's MIDI in and MIDI out on the unit. I've tested MIDI in, but both are going to need some more work before being fully completed. I also want to add a voice spread and voice randomness to help the unison sound more wider. Also on another note, I want to say a big thank you to Prehistoricman for his help with me understanding the internal workings of the OB-SX and also the interface, so thank you very much to him for his help, and I'll leave a link to his channel in the description of the video. The rest of this video is going to be me creating sounds with the programmer. There will be external effects on the audio, mainly some chorus, reverb and compression. But I'll leave a link in the description to a video with the raw output if you don't want any effects. Also, apologies for the clipping on the audio. I can't save the master volume per patch, so sometimes it's too low and sometimes it's too loud. So apologies for that, but I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching and have a good day. Bye bye now.